Welcome, everybody. It is Monday, and it is 12 o'clock here in Chicago, so you know what that means. It's Mindset Your Marketing Time. My name is Billy Funk, the Extreme Networker. I am here with at least one of my co-hosts. I've got Shannon Young with me out of Georgia. Is Lany Sullivan with us as well, Shannon?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Hey, Lany.
Yes.
We got Lany and Shannon, and we are going to give you your daily dose of mindset and marketing. You know, I know in the last few weeks we've talked about everything from, your driving force being your why, as well as who you should talk to, who you should surround yourself with, the where of business, where are you at now, where are you going, the when, the timing and positioning of being in the right mindset and with the right people. Today we're going to talk about eliminating your hesitation and removing it in order to get to your destination. And I think that so many people get caught up inside their own mind, and they create these barriers. They create these walls that don't even exist. And that disallows them any opportunity to really pursue their destination. It takes them away and takes them off track and doesn't get them to where they want to go. So many people see something awesome that they want to get involved in, and then they hesitate. They sit there, and some people say yes to it. Some people enroll. Some people join. Some people get started, and then they sit there and they aim, and they aim, and they aim, and they never fire. They never go out there and take the step forward. They never really take the necessary action steps in order to get them successful. So we're going to talk today about how you can eliminate those barriers, how you can knock down those walls, how you can go out there and just stop the procrastination, eliminate the hesitation, and just go out there and get on track. Get on the right path so that you can achieve exactly what you want to achieve. And I think that is really what it comes down to in business, what it comes down to in life. When you look at successful people, I know Napoleon Hill talks about it in his Think and Grow Rich. He said some of the most highly successful people, almost all of them, have got the tendency to make decisions quickly and then to stick to them. And so how many of us are able to make a decision, right there on the spot and then stick with it and not stop until we get there? It was Henry Ford when he was creating, I think it was either the six-cylinder engine. It didn't exist at the time. And he told all of his mechanics, all of his people that were working on that project, I need you to create this. And they looked at him and said it was impossible. They looked at him and said it couldn't be done. And he looked back at them and said, you know what? It is possible, and I need you to do it. And like 6 months went by, and he called them up, and he said, all right, where are you guys at? And they're like, it's impossible. It just can't be done. We keep trying, we keep trying, we keep trying. So that's not the answer that I'm looking for. Let me know when you figure it out. And then a year went by. Finally, somebody figured it out. He figured out exactly how to get that six-cylinder engine, formulated, built, created, when it didn't exist before that. Those people were hesitating, and thank God they had an awesome leader with Henry Ford, where he said, stop hesitating, stop putting up barriers. There are no walls. It can be created. It will happen. Just go out there and make it happen. And how many of us have sat there and looked at something and said it was impossible, looked at something and said it couldn't be done? We created a wall. We created a problem. We created a barrier that didn't exist, which ended up blocking us from where we wanted to go. I think it was, I forget which great poet said this, but he said he had a lot of problems in life, and over half of them never existed. Over half of them never were actually even real, because all of us, from one time or another, end up creating problems and barriers in our lives that are only in our minds. They don't ever even exist in the real world. So how do you stop that? How do you eliminate that? How do you correct that? Well, you correct that through observation. You take a step back, you look at exactly what you're thinking about, and you watch yourself as as your mind creates something negative, something that's a problem, something that's an obstacle that is not even there. You observe that, and you start the correct thinking. You transition yourself to the right mindset. You move over to the right path. And you're probably thinking to yourself, or maybe some of you are saying, well, what is the right mindset? What is the right path? Where can I find, these great quotes or, this great information? Well, that's why we're here today. That's why we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because there's so many barriers out there in life that don't exist. A lot of them are in your own mind. A lot of them are created by other people that don't ever even exist. We're here with Mindset Your Marketing to take you and to give you the right path, to give you the right fuel, to give you the right fire so you can go out there and become exactly who you want to become. And if there's nothing else in your life, at least we can be there for you to give you that passion, to give you that enthusiasm, to give you that right spark that you've been looking for. I know somebody that's got a tremendous passion, that's got an absolute fire and fuel for network marketing and helping people get where they want to go is Shannon Young. She's out there in Georgia. She's making it happen. She's not watching it happen. And she's definitely not a person that says, what the heck just happened. She goes out there and she makes it happen. She doesn't hesitate. And she eliminates that. I've seen her remove any hesitation, and that's allowing her to get to her destination. Shannon Young, what is happening out there in Georgia today, girl?
Hey there. Well, we have great blue skies, but it's a little chilly, but it's a really, really pretty day here. I think you're absolutely right when you talk about we observe the fears that we have in our mind. Sometimes they're so much deeper than barriers. They're actually fears. But at the end of the day, we know what fear stands for, right? It's only false evidence appearing real. Because sometimes, and I'm guilty of this myself, blocking my mind because of fear, thinking that, I can't do this. I mean, you watched me go through a time when I sponsored 100 people with my eyes closed, from status updates to struggling to sponsor. But at the end of the day, I blocked my own mind. I let a personal experience shoot me in the foot and say, no, you can't do this, when at the end of the day, absolutely, I could, right? So I think when you step back and you realize that, hey, I have blocked my mind. I have stepped in my own way. I am what's eliminating my success. Really take a close look at that. Figure out the best way for you to step outside of your comfort zone, and that's what it takes for each and every single one of us, is to step outside of the comfort zone and hit that realm of no fear, right? And it is so possible to do. It takes a positive mindset. It takes belief in yourself and knowing that regardless of how big our obstacles are, we can, climb over that. If we have to beat through it with a hammer, get out your hammer. At the end of the day, I think the best answer for this is the Nike slogan, just do it, right?
I love it. Yeah, Shannon, you're right. I didn't even think of it, but in the last few months, I witnessed you sponsor 100 people, like you said, almost at will in a very short amount of time, and then you were in that hesitation mode for a few weeks, and you popped right out of it. I think that anybody, it's like riding a bike. Once you know how to do something, you can go out there and you can do it again and again and again. Sometimes you fall off that bike, but the only thing you have to do is get back on it. Is that what happened to you, Shannon?
Absolutely. I just decided that this is not who I am. This is not where I'm going to stay. I'm going to rise above this, and I'm going forward. Like it or not. Some days were scary. I've picked up the phone and called you in tears. But it absolutely, the most motivational thing is telling yourself, I can do this. I will do this. And, battling that little voice that says, no, you've lost it. You can't do this anymore. It's almost, sometimes it's like a battle of will internally, right? But we all have that power, and you will hear me say 1,000 times, anybody can succeed in this industry. It's their mindset. It's their willpower. It's the urge to keep going. Some days may be 14, 16-hour days, but when you're dedicated and determined, when you stay consistent and persistent, you can overcome that. If you're blocked, come to me, come to Billy, come to Lany, because we will definitely, push you past the point of where you are now.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head. Surround yourself with people. If you don't believe in yourself right now, find somebody that believes in you. Find somebody that's inspiring. Find some coach, some mentor. Find somebody that will push you past where you are right now, that will help you step outside your comfort zone. Because success does not lie on that zone of comfort, of being comfortable. It lies outside of there. Everything that I've ever done that was a success at one point was not comfortable for me. At one point wasn't something that I considered normal in my life. But you know what? It was something that I wanted to make happen. It was something I knew that if I stepped outside my box, that I can go out there and become bigger. Because if you're not growing, if you're not actually learning, you're dying. And that's true with not just humans, but with every single species and every single organism on this planet. If you're a plant and you're not growing, you're dying. And that's with all of us. So how do you grow? You learn. You go out there and you decide I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna study, and I'm gonna study, and then I'm gonna practice, and then you have the ability to teach. But that learning process is never over, and it never can be. I know somebody that is a great learner. She's a great teacher. She's a great marketer. She's got an awesome mindset. And her name's Lany Sullivan. She's on the call with us today. Lany, what is it about eliminating your hesitation that has allowed you to get closer to your destination?
Hi, everybody. Good morning, Billy. You guys, I love this topic because it's hesitation and procrastination a lot of times go hand in hand. And when you're hesitating, like Shannon said, it's definitely there's a fear there. And I really focus on what's going on in the 6 inches between my ears. And when I'm hesitating on something, it's the best thing to do is to sit down, evaluate why you're hesitating, and then step out of your comfort zone. And like Billy said, make a phone call. Whenever I've had an issue where I'm like, I really don't want to do this, I called Joe and said, I don't want to do this. Can somebody do it for me? To the point of like, I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. And what that ends up turning into is procrastination. And Napoleon Hill said it best: procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow what should have been done the day before yesterday. So, whenever you are hesitating, you need to stop hesitating, first of all, but realize why you're hesitating, and then realize that your hesitation is turning into procrastination, and you're not going forward when you're procrastinating. You're actually stalled in the moment that you're in. You're going backwards, essentially. Because like Billy said, if you're not growing, you're not learning and growing and moving forward, you're dying. And I tell that to everybody. I've been saying that for years. If you're not learning, you're dying. You're not growing, you're dying. And today I'm like, I don't even have much more to add to you guys because they just said everything. I just say, get outside of your comfort zone. When you step outside of your comfort zone, that is where the magic happens. Don't let your hesitation stop you. Don't let your fear stop you. Don't let your procrastination stop you. Don't let anything stop you, because if you let anything, you're stopping yourself when you let something else stop you. So just step out of that. Don't stop. Move forward. Be successful. Go for your dreams. Go for your goals. There's nothing more valuable to you than what you're going for.
I love it. No, I agree. There's nothing more valuable to you than what you're going for. And that's such a true statement. And so many people see something they want. They see something they desire. They look at something that they want to do, and they see somebody that they want to be, and then they sit there and they think to themselves. At first, they're excited that they're like, I can do this. I want to do this. And they sit back and they sit with their own mind, which sometimes can be your worst enemy. And you hear that little voice in your head that says, you really think you could do that? You've never done it before. How do you expect to do it? And it stops them. It blocks them. It puts up this false barrier, and it becomes a fear. for them. It becomes, this false evidence that's appearing real when it's not real. It doesn't exist. And, so many people out there, they fear hopping on the phone. They fear making phone calls. They fear the rejection. How do you get over that? It's super simple. Make phone calls. Go out there and dial numbers. Go out there and fail and fail and fail. And guess what? If you do that often enough, you're going to figure out what doesn't work, which is going to lead you to what does. It's going to put you on the path of success. So many great leaders. Thomas Watson, the CEO of IBM, has said if you want to increase your rate of success, double your rate of failure. What does he mean by that? Well, if you think about it, if you fear getting on the phone, if you fear rejection, and that stops you, that makes you hesitate, and you end up not making phone calls, well, guess what? That's only going to give you more failure. It's only going to give you more rejection, which is exactly what you didn't want. But if you get on the phone and you actually go out there and you make it happen, and even if you're taking no after no after no, even if you're taking fail after fail after fail, you're learning what doesn't work. You're learning exactly what doesn't make it happen, and by doing that, just by natural human tendencies, you will figure out what does work. And that's what's helped me, is that when I see something that I want, I will write down the necessary steps that I think that will make it happen, and I will go through step A, B, and C, and if I don't get there, well, I will reevaluate those steps. I will go and review my process, and maybe I'll put down some different steps. If those don't work, I'll keep going, just like the greats, just like what Henry Ford said to the guys that were working on that six-cylinder engine. I don't care if you don't think it can happen right now. I know it can. Make it happen for me. Keep going until you get there, and don't stop until you have an answer. Just like Thomas Edison, he didn't stop. 10,000 ways that didn't work. 10,000 ways that didn't create a light bulb. How many times in your life do you think that you stopped short when you could have kept going and got it? How many of us would have continued on? How many of us would have kept going after 1,000 ways that didn't work? Not many. There's not many people out there that will keep going and going and going until they get there. But I'm going to tell you right now, success is inevitable as long as you don't quit, as long as you keep going. If you want something so badly and you put yourself on the right path and you don't stop until you get there, guess what? You'll always get there. But if you hesitate, if you procrastinate, if you stall out, if you veer off the path, if you stop in your tracks, you'll never get there. You have to have the drive and determination, and you have to have the tenacity and the mindset of you're going to make it happen. You're not going to let anybody tell you that you can't. And in fact, when somebody tells you you can't, it's only going to give you more motivation to allow you to can. I know that anytime if you want Billy Funk to do something, one of the best ways to do that is to tell me I can't do it. Because if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to step back because it's about to happen. And it's just my mindset. I believe that I can do anything that I put my mind to. And I hope you do too. I I was fortunate enough to grow up in that environment, to have parents that instilled that in me, where I know that anything that I want to be possible is absolutely possible. Even that word impossible has got I'm possible inside of it. And, making possibilities reality is really fun. Doing things that people think are impossible is even more fun. Going out there and making your dreams and your goals a reality is one of the best feelings in the world, one of the best accomplishments, one of the best moments, because now you can show people exactly how you did it. Success leaves a trail. There's always clues to how somebody got to where they got to. And, it may not be huge, giant rocks or pieces of pie in that trail. It may be breadcrumbs. But there is something that they've left behind to show you how they got there. And so if you know where you want to go, find somebody that's gotten there already and follow their trail, follow their path. Why create the wheel when there's already one that's already been created? Shannon Young, I know that you've been, I know you gave us some incredible insight into just making it happen. And you know what? Taking those barriers of fear and just breaking them down, eliminating the walls of procrastination to get to your destination. What else can you maybe speak about for 2 minutes on the marketing side of it, where you maybe hesitated in terms of recruiting or prospecting when in reality it was all in your mind?
Right. You know what? I think I'll continue with your theme for the day and begin with Henry Ford. He said it best when he said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right. And that's what happens. I see a lot of marketers and talk to them who are in maybe a company that they aren't making any money with, and they're jumping from company to company to company, right? The one analogy that I want to use here, and for you runners out there, you'll understand, it's, when we first start, our body's so sore, and it hurts to go, right? And it hurts to go that extra step, but we push ourselves to make that first mile, right? And we continue pushing and continue pushing, through the aches, through the pain, and we tell ourselves this pain is only temporary because it's going to push us to that 5-mile mark or wherever it is that we want to go with that, right? But at the end of the day, when we stumble, we fall, and it's something that we all do. I know anybody out there who's ever been in that position has fallen at least once, right? What did you do? You got back up, and you kept going. It may have been a slow run, may have been a very slow pace, it may have been a walk, or goodness, you may have even had to crawl till you got to your destination, but you got there, right? You had to make it back home. And that's the way that I look at marketing is, when you decide exactly what you want and you know that is what you want with all of your heart and all of your soul, remember the one thing, that the pain is only temporary. The struggles are going to make us stronger. If you fail, get back up. Keep going. There's the verse that says, fall down 7 times, get back up 8, right? It's just keep going. Do not stop. You know what? Remember, quitting is not an option. And I think that is my best advice to any marketer who's struggling to make it happen. You know what? Quitting is not an option. Keep going. Keep your eyes on the goal, and you will get there.
I love it. Keep your eyes on the goal, and you will get there. And, I think that so many people out there have got incredible dreams, they got incredible goals, they've got an incredible heart, and they got incredible wishes and wants, and, they just got an incredible paradise that they can have. And for me, the bridge between your dreams and your paradise is one word, and it's called action. That is the bridge. The bridge between your dreams and your paradise is called action. Because even if you want something so badly that it's a passion, it's a desire, it's engulfed your mind, it's engulfed your being. If you sit there on the couch, you're never going to get it. If you sit there and you only think about it, you'll never make it happen. If you sit there and you don't take action, you'll never see it in front of you. So knock down those barriers, eliminate that hesitation, remove any procrastination, and you'll get to your destination. Remember, false evidence appearing real is really what the definition of fear is. The only way to face fear and to remove fear is to face it head on and to go out there and act despite of it. And being courageous isn't acting without fear. It's acting in spite of fear. Go out there and take massive action in spite of your procrastination. Take massive action in spite of everybody saying you can't do it. Go out there and act on everything that you want and make it happen today. Do something today that, is scary to you. Do something today that's uncomfortable for you. Do something today that will absolutely change your mindset of what you thought about something. Do something today to make your dreams, your paradise happen, because just thinking about them will never make them happen. So that's your bridge Go out there and create that bridge between your goals and your dreams and your paradise and your reality with that word action. So this is Billy Funk, your Extreme Networker, and on behalf of my two awesome co-partners and co-hosts, Shannon Young and Lady Sullivan, telling you to stay positive, stay passionate, and you'll always stay powerful. We'll see everybody same bat time, same bat channel on Wednesday. Have a fantastic Monday, an awesome Tuesday, and we'll see you for an incredible Wednesday. God bless everybody.